Boom, baby. We are live. We are broadcasting all across the board here. Welcome to the Tokyo Crypto Show, episode number, Jesus, Charlie, I don't even know.
I think, yeah, what is it? Jesus.
It's been such a long time.
64.
64, Roku Yon.
There we go.
The Nintendo 64 episode. It's gonna be good. Welcome to Tokyo Crypto Show episode number 64, where we're talking about Bitcoin never under $15,000 again. I don't know, man. Bitcoin is resilient. I think we need to have a chat about just everything that's been going on, because
yeah,
man, I've kind of took like a 2-week break, and the crypto world moves extremely fast, and so I'm just wondering, like, what have I missed out on? I mean, the world in itself moves that fast as well. So
yeah, everything's
crazy.
Moving fast. Yeah, well, I mean, the main thing is the altcoins look like they're going to be a sustained move up for quite a long time, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the biggest development.
And what do you mean by that?
So basically, since September of last year, the altcoins have had some short pumps, but Bitcoin's been the main player ever since the end of 2018, right? Ever since everything went down and we hit the bottom of the bear market, most of the moves to the upside have been Bitcoin. But with the last, since September, we've had a couple of months, like we've had 1 month in September, October, then we had, I think it was January, February, and then we had just the last 1 month of the altcoins doing well. I could show you a chart on this in a second here as well, but because, yeah, Bitcoin dominance is down massively, which is good for the entire market.
What are we at right now?
63%.
Oh, well, I mean, I remember when it was 55, so this is
yeah, but at the same time, Bitcoin, when it's under 60%, or definitely under a little bit under 65%, here we go. Let's move over to, there it is. So here is Bitcoin dominance. Basically, if anybody doesn't know what Bitcoin dominance is, it just is of the entire cryptocurrency market cap, how much of the market cap is in Bitcoin. And hold on a second here. I have to go open the door. Give me a second.
So we are just doing a little bit of a catch-up show today with cryptocurrency. Take a look at this. Speaking of Chainlink, my mic is muffled. How muffled are we talking here? Oh no. But yeah, I'm in the process of, I just put a cloud lifter and I connected it like today, just a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I don't sound too bad. I mean, I hear what you're hearing, but it is what it is. The show will go on. Yeah, we're going to talk about Chainlink. And Charlie, you back? Muted. Or I can't hear you.
I'm not muted. I just unmuted.
There you go. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you got the chart. I was just going to talk about Chainlink too, but let's talk about what you're talking about. Let's talk about the crypto, the alts, and then go into Chainlink after that.
Yeah, it sounds like a plan. So, all right, here we go. Oh, that's a different one. Can you see this?
Yep. There
all right.
we go.
So like I was saying before, market cap, basically Bitcoin dominance on the market cap is basically the indicator of whether the market will be going up or down, and whether it's going to be mainly Bitcoin or some of the altcoins. So we had Bitcoin be over 100% dominant, right? Back in the day. And in 2017, that all changed. What happened in February of 2017 was all of the altcoins started to pump, and so did Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin dominance was declining, right? And then since 2018, Bitcoin's been increasing in dominance, right? So that was down at 35% dominance now, or basically in September, it came up to about 72, 73% dominance. And now what's happening here is if you draw a trend line from the two lows here, and you just extrapolate that out, basically last week, the altcoins finally, or basically not the altcoins, Bitcoin dominance closed finally below that trend line. So it's the first time in about 2 or so years that Bitcoin has even gotten close to that level, not in terms of the actual percentage, but in terms of the trend. And so now the trend is going back down on Bitcoin dominance, which means as long as it stays below this 200-week moving average, because each candle here is 1 week of price action, as long as it stays below that 200-week moving average, and especially if it gets below this 100-week moving average, then Bitcoin will do well, the altcoins will do well. We'll start having, kind of an alt season again, basically, and a lot more speculative mania, which is always good.
Is that a real alt season or a fucking fake alt season?
No, it's the beginning of one. So here's the difference, right? When you take a look in what happened in 2017, right? You had your first dip down. Well, you had a couple dips down here, just small, right? One here from 98% dominance down to 94. Went back up, then came back down again, then started really going into it, obviously there. So the tail end when we get into a real alt season is when you get this kind of crazy action, which I don't think we'll see for a while. I think we'll see kind of Bitcoin dominance stay above 60 for a decent amount of time, but then once it does break below 60%, then we start having some fun. But this just shows right now that the alts are in a good space to be growing over the next few weeks, if not the second half of this year.
Dope. Things are looking good, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Chainlink, shall we?
Sure.
Real quick, I want to say something. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this good person sent me something, Charlie. This is a good man from Florida, because all people from Florida are good people, as you know, Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
My man, and he's from my hometown, Miami. Look at this guy. So, he mailed me a fucking card in Tokyo. Okay? This guy owns a brand called Alpha Villains.
Nice.
He gave me all these stickers. No sympathy. That's a good one.
That's great.
The space she needed. 3 hots and a thought. Right. Ho economics. Ho economics goes. Oh, this is funny. I have this shirt. Ask your mom why I laugh. But I'm gonna get to the creme de la creme next. But look at it. Okay, so there's a show, right? There's a shirt that says on the front it says Ho economics. And then on the back, it says child support, alimony, IRS, government bailouts, simps, singles, OnlyFans, beta male providers. That guy, at Alpha Villains. He's a good guy. Follow him on Instagram. And then check this out. So this is a shirt. He made me this shirt. And it says, I coach your ex. So this is a shout out to you, Mr. Alpha. Look at this guy. Let me show you why I'm giving the shout out. He didn't give me any money for this. He did send me some free shirts. So if you think I'm selling out for some t-shirts, I guess you caught me red-handed. But look at this. He wrote me a handwritten letter.
Oh, nice. That's rare these days.
Yeah. And he said, John, thank you for your support. We will continue to endorse you and your content. We'd love to be a sponsor to your show as well, Alpha Villains. But more importantly, this guy mailed me stuff in Japan, and he hand wrote me a letter, sent me all these stickers. I'm gonna bang girls and just put these stickers on their forehead when I'm done, just kind of you're donezo. But anyways, yeah. I think that was just really nice of the guy. But let's go back to crypto real quick, because Chainlink is I don't even want to hear about fucking Chainlink, and I'm hearing about it. But let's talk about their chart right now.
Yeah, definitely. Let me pull it up here. Give me a second.
In the meantime, take a look at this. But there's a wild animal loss out in Tokyo. It's giving out all sorts of crypto gains. Check it out. It is the crypto bling shark.
Oh, you ever dressed up today? Great.
It's the crypto bling shark. She's got the bling on her neck here. She's got the diamonds on her collar. And the crypto bling shark is coming to get your gains. It's coming to give you all the gains. Look at her.
Nice.
Oh my god. But yeah, Chainlink is looking fantastic, dude. What is it? It's up 15% in how long?
I think in the last 24 hours.
Look at this guy, Chainlink to 5,000. This is how you know this guy's sipping the Kool-Aid hardcore.
No, I love Steven. He's always making those bold predictions, you know?
Me too. It's fantastic.
All right.
Chainlink might hit double digits by the end of next week. End of the week.
Boom. That would be lovely. I think it'll get up to $9. If it gets up to 10, that would be wonderful.
So pull up the chart. What's that now?
Yeah, let's take a look here. All right. So we'll just zoom into the current action on Chainlink, right? It's really been pumping ever since the end of June. It was already going up there along with the rest of the market after the big
Pumping
dump back
from
in
where?
March.
End of June till well, from where?
So right here, I'll show you.
What's the price?
Yeah. Hold on a second. So the price here at the end of June was about $4.40.
Yeah.
And that's about a almost 100% increase, so a double in price since that time.
Since June 20th?
So this is if you go from here June 28th, but yeah, if you go from the absolute low that we had before this move up, it was June 15th. And that actually is about $3.50 for a brief period in time. So if you go from there, that's about 135% increase, so more than a double.
So what happened to this project that just caused this is a month. You could double your money in a month.
Yeah. And here's where you get into, fundamentals versus technicals. So when you are a fundamental analysis type person, what you will do is you'll look at the news, you'll look at rumors about the coin, you'll look at what's actually happened in terms of their projects, or if they put out, a new piece of code or some sort of extra feature, and that's fundamental analysis. But for a lot of people who do technical analysis, it's not like a war against fundamentals because fundamentals are important, especially in the stock market. But when it comes to cryptocurrency, it's not necessarily the fundamentals that move the coins, right? Sometimes the coins just start going up for a lot of different reasons. Can be buying behind the scenes by people who have a lot of money, all sorts of different stuff. So at the end of the day, personally, I don't really care why a coin goes up. I just want to look at the data on the chart and say, okay, is this going to continue? And if so, like, where could it go, right? And so that's kind of how I look at it. But in terms of the news on this, there hasn't been any major news that was put out like on any of the major crypto news platforms or anything like that. There might be some like slight small news that Chainlink did something recently, but most importantly, like if you zoom out on a weekly chart of Chainlink, basically this area here of about $4 to $5 was its resistance area, right? It's all-time highs. Once you get a coin that breaks above its all-time highs, it has nothing holding the price back. So that's why I feel that the price has really gone crazy here over the last specifically 2 weeks or 1 month in total, because once it broke that all-time high, it has nothing holding it back. So no previous price history holding it back.
This guy says Hex will beat the shit out of Link. Trust me, guys.
Well, yeah, it could. There's, in the short term. Long term, hell no.
Chico is a Chainlink cheerleader. Are you talking about Chico Crypto?
Yeah, he is.
People are saying they can hear me breathe and that the mic is like... Is the mic okay?
Yeah, it's okay, but I can hear you're breathing through your nose.
Oh, that's so weird because I'm coming in low, but it's picking up my nasal passageways. All right.
Well, yeah, I guess no congestion today. That's good.
Let me just turn this maybe that's a little bit better there. I put this threshold a little bit higher. All right. Hopefully that's a little bit better there. So, are you personally invested in Chainlink?
Yeah, I have some. I don't hold a huge portion of it, but have some. I've been talking about this thing for the last 1 year. Been really talking about it since earlier this year in February, when at that time it was at a high of $4.50, and then it came back down. So, I'm definitely liking Chainlink, and also I think so not just to like pump my own bags and say, oh yeah, Chainlink's great, keep pumping this shit up, because that doesn't really matter that much. But the one thing that's really cool about Chainlink recently, and this was maybe a few weeks ago or maybe a little bit over a month ago, is that they are working with the Chinese government as well as Google. And so they have huge partnerships with a lot of different places. So if you're working with the Chinese government on projects, I think you're doing pretty well for yourself. So that's one of the reasons to be bullish on Chainlink long term as well.
So what exactly is like the use case of it for the common man?
Well, it's not really for the common man. It's more of like an infrastructure type solution. So when you're talking about computers and stuff, right, infrastructure is usually stuff that happens on the back end that's nobody really even notices, which means it's a very important cog in the blockchain space. But the simplest way to explain what Chainlink is that, let's say you have a data of the weather, for example, right? Or of history, like any data that you want, right? Where do you keep that data currently today, right? If you have weather data or historical data, where would you put it?
Like a hard drive or something.
Yeah. So you have your own database, right?
Yeah.
Can you change that database?
Of course.
Yeah. So you could go back and rewrite, history to an extent, or you could go back and say, fudge up the numbers for the weather data or whatever. But on the blockchain, right, the purpose of Bitcoin and blockchain technology is that you cannot go back and change any input into the database, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now here you got something which is Chainlink, which takes real world data, let's say, of the weather over the last, let's say, 100 years, but it does it live, right? So it keeps that data, but it feeds that data directly to various blockchains. And so those blockchains can keep that data for forever. Now, in terms of...
Can you go back and manipulate it at all?
No, you're not supposed to be able to. We'll see if hackers go back and try it, right? A lot of hackers tried to go back and do that with Bitcoin. We're not successful. So it's based on Ethereum. So it's more of an Ethereum type technology. So it would be, if any weaknesses do happen in it, it would be a weakness found in the Ethereum blockchain.
Right. So I wanted to ask about that. Now, Ethereum seems to be pulling up a lot of different types of projects.
Yes.
Does that have any effect on the long-term price of Ethereum itself?
Definitely. So Ethereum, because it has a huge network of various cryptocurrencies behind it, that's what's helping to build the Ethereum network. So Ethereum will continue to grow as long as people are using that technology as the underlying technology for their other, projects, coins, tokens, whatever.
Sorry, Josh just sent me an article. He said something about like Bitcoin's going to go to 300,000 in the next 5 years.
Hell yeah! Shout out to Josh.
So with Chainlink, yeah. So basically, it's just a digital history bank, or what is it exactly? It's just, you just store any kind of data there.
So so it's the place that gets the data and then sends it to the blockchain where it is stored. So it's a middleman for that.
What if it, like an EMP hits or something?
Well, if that happens to the internet's fucked, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, in that case, all technology is, essentially worthless to some extent. So it's not really worrying about that. But basically, here's the thing, right? So Chainlink's the middleman. It's the oracle of bringing the data from the real world to the blockchain. So let's say, for example, that you have
You there?
Yeah, hold on a second. So basically, let's say, for example, right, you just want to connect anything to any blockchain, you would use Chainlink. So there's one company that does something similar just for regular databases. You know of the company Oracle, right?
Yeah.
So Oracle is one of the biggest companies in software in the world. And they're called Oracle because they basically make a database which keeps all of your information, right? And they also get data from your current company within your current company and get that to an Oracle type database. So it's a back-end type technology for your database, right? And Chainlink's the same thing, but for blockchain. So just to give another example, so let's say you have the weather data, right? You could input that manually into the blockchain. It would be stored there, but there's no way to do that automatically without Chainlink. There are other projects that do something similar. Another example would be something like something we talked about yesterday on my channel, which is, let's say you want to have the most competitive rates in the world compared to every other bank that has interest rates, right? And maybe every other cryptocurrency project as well that charges interest rates or gives you interest rate benefits for holding your coins or whatever. So you could take the Chainlink Oracle and have that scan all of the data across all interest rates globally, both in crypto and out of crypto. And then you get that data on your blockchain, and then therefore you can, at like every second, you can update your interest rates and be more competitive than any other business doing the same thing.
Very interesting. And you said this is Chainlink is backed by Microsoft?
No. They're their own project, an open source project,
Uh-huh.
but they have Google as a partner. So Google's using their technology. The Chinese government is using their technology. So they have some pretty big players who are interested in using their service, basically.
And so it's just data storage in a cloud or in a blockchain somewhere?
Yeah, data movement. So the storage is on whichever blockchain you use. So you can store it on the Bitcoin blockchain. You could store it on your own private blockchain, any type of blockchain. But it's, the database or the data mover from real world to blockchain.
So what? So the Chainlink scans your computer, or I don't understand.
So it's whichever data points you put it up with. So let's say, for example, you are a bank, right? And so like I said in that previous example, you scan what all of your competitors are doing.
How do you scan it?
So you just go on the internet, connect it to like the traditional internet and traditional systems. So you could connect it to your internal banking system. You could connect it to basically any type of data source that is currently available in our world that's outside of the blockchain.
What are you connecting? Are they sending you a USB? Are you connecting over the internet? What are you connecting?
So
I don't
you
understand.
connect over the internet, usually via an API.
And so you connect what to what?
So let's say you want to see all the data from the stock market, but you want to keep all that data on the blockchain, right?
Which blockchain?
On whichever blockchain you want. Let's say, just as an example, the Bitcoin blockchain.
So how would you save data on the Bitcoin blockchain?
Text.
In text, and where? Where would you store it? Inside a piece of Bitcoin, or?
Yep, in a transaction, in a block of Bitcoin. You can write different things in the Bitcoin blockchain in terms of like information, so you could keep it there that way. So like, for example, when the Bitcoin first came out, right, the Genesis block had the newspaper article inside the Genesis block, just written there in text.
The newspaper article, what did it say?
It was a newspaper article from the UK, and it just said the government bails out the banks again, something to that effect, basically saying that it's BS that the banks are getting bailed out by the government again. And that's the reason why Bitcoin was created, to not bail out the banks.
Okay, and so is there a character limit on the data per block with data storage?
So that depends on each blockchain. For Bitcoin, yes. So you probably wouldn't use this feature for Bitcoin, but if you created your own blockchain or you created a new blockchain that you wanted to store this data on, it's basically like creating a new database. So you know how you have different database services, like there's Oracle, then there's Microsoft Dynamics, there's I'm trying to just think of a few others. Can't remember them all exactly, but yeah, there's a bunch out there, a bunch of different competitors. So it's kind of like that, but for decentralized databases, which are blockchain.
So you're taking an API, which is basically like a connecting interface between Chainlink, which is is Chainlink software? What is it?
Yeah, software.
Okay, and then the software. So where does the cryptocurrency part come into play?
So once it scans the whatever information is available on the internet, then it takes that information, plugs it in. Basically, it's the oracle or the middleman between the blockchain and that real world data. And it just basically communicates that data through Chainlink's blockchain, which is based on Ethereum, to whichever other blockchain wants that data.
Okay, so where does the coin come into play?
So I haven't looked into that part quite as in depth, but basically
you're fired.
It's like
you're absolutely fucking fired. I leave for 2 weeks and we lose a 15% chance because of your incompetency. Get Mo on the show.
I'm on Chainlink. Mo bought Chainlink back when I told him to get $4.40.
You don't even know what the fucking Chainlink cryptocurrency itself does, though.
No, I was about to explain, but I had to take a moment to think about it.
Okay, what does it do?
So the main thing, I guess, in terms of how does it create its value.
I'm scolding you for not knowing, by the way. Bro. The guy who doesn't know anything is scolding the guy who knows more than him.
Blah. Shut up.
I'm defending you.
Yeah. So what I would say is basically, so you know how Ethereum works, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How does Ethereum work?
Smart contracts.
Yep. And so Ethereum itself is more of like a piece of money, right? That's used to lubricate the smart contracts to get them to execute. And so it's kind of like when you go into a shopping mall, right? You have the currency, which is the US dollar. But if you want to go into a movie theater, right? You buy a ticket to go into the movie theater, and then you use that ticket to enter whichever movie you want, right? So the Ethereum is kind of like that, or Ethereum token is kind of like that. It's just your ticket to do whatever function you want on the Ethereum blockchain.
Gas.
Yes, exactly. It's gas. And so Chainlink, if you, let's say, buy some Chainlink tokens, then if you use their Oracle service, you can basically pay them and use their service by using that Chainlink token on Ethereum. So it's kind of like the ticket to use their service, or the gas to use their service.
So to use the Chainlink service, you have to buy what's called Link.
Right. And so, yeah, I think, well, the Chinese government is using them. They're making a decentralized application builder. So what's going to take it for somebody to like replicate this Chainlink technology and just do it without the blockchain? Oh, what do you mean?
Like, what if they just create a software and say, "Oh, fuck the blockchain. We'll just store your data like in a server somewhere." Yeah, there's a bunch of companies already doing that, right? Like Oracle does that as an example. So it's already something that exists in the real world, but it doesn't yet exist. Well, I guess it exists in the traditional world, I guess I should say, but it doesn't exist yet on the blockchain. So that's what Chainlink is useful for. Also, what do you call it? What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, there's other companies doing the same thing, right? There's this one called Bands. BANDS, that is basically similar to Chainlink. So it has a lot of competitors, but the Chinese government, when they decided to use Chainlink, they said they thought the Chainlink community, also the people who are running it, the organization itself, is much better than their competitors. So that's why they decided to use the other Chainlink instead of the other services that are similar. So then what's the cause of this recent 15% pump?
So this is where
signed or something, or what?
So this is where you get into technicals versus fundamentals. And so like if I shared my screen again, I'll show you the Chainlink chart. And I can give you two options of basically what happened, right? And you can choose whichever story you want to believe. Basically, I think there's people who love to believe the fundamental stories. They love to follow the news. But then there's just people who like to look at the chart. So anyways, here on the chart, right, it had this resistance here between the tops of these candles here was $4.48 and $4.98. Once it broke that all-time high, which you can see on this candle here, the candles before it was growing, right? But it was still being pulled down or pushed down by the previous price. But once it broke that, basically this line here, what happened to the candle, right? The candle started moving up massively quickly, right? So whenever you have previous resistance, which is these prices down here, it's harder to move the price up. But once you break that price resistance, that price level, and there's literally no price action previously at this level, then the price can go crazy, right? And then you just get a lot of speculation. So there's not always one specific reason you can pin it down to, but some people have been talking about Google Cloud or Google Drive also using Chainlink, but that's been in the news for several months now. So I don't think that's a huge reason as to why it did. I think basically just because of the technicals, because it broke its previous high. And so that's why on my show on Friday, I listed 10 different altcoins or 10 different cryptocurrencies that will do well in the second half of this year. And I think 6 out of 10 of them are above their all-time highs, meaning they have nothing of previous price history holding them back.
So it's just a technical. So really, nobody knows. There's no really the rhyme or reason. It's just a pump happening. Exactly.
And so you could try to pin different reasons on it, but there's really no point. The point is to look at the chart and see, is it going to continue that or not? And right now, the RSI is overbought, but you can see here back in June of last year, got overbought a lot more, right? It went up to 93. Currently, it's at about 84. So it could still continue moving to the upside. But I think it'll probably hit $9 here in the next couple of days, and then maybe start coming back down from there. We'll see.
It is definitely quite the hell of amount of growth there. So you basically double your money in one fucking month if you're paying attention.
Yep. And well, that's why you, for some of these main projects, right? Like Chainlink has one of the best charts in crypto because it's so easy for it to break its all-time highs. And it didn't pump when it first came out, right? Usually most cryptocurrencies pump and dump as soon as they come out. Chainlink just came out and it wasn't listed on many exchanges, so it just kind of went flat for a while. And then it started building up and it didn't have any resistance, therefore it can build up a lot faster than other coins. And there are several projects as well related to Chainlink in the decentralized finance space. And they're also growing well because they are associated with Chainlink. And so once you get that positive association, it kind of brings up a lot of different ships in that same basket.
Let's talk about today's show. Bitcoin never going sub 15,000 again. I want to talk about that.
Hell yeah,
it
baby.
Just seems I'm kind of, perhaps I'm a little bit disconnected with the average man, but the way I look at everything, because I don't watch news, I don't watch negativity, all that shit. I've created like a echo chamber of just positive stuff for my life. I just feel like right now, despite the whole global whatever nonsense, that there is just a ton of opportunities to make money right now within real estate, with cryptocurrency. I just see a lot of opportunities. I don't know, maybe I'm just in a different thinking spot than most people, but I'm happy. I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be a lot more opportunities because, I mean, we talked about it today, this last night on the with John from Bulldog Mindset on the Body Language Mastery private webinars, how the stock market is going up, but I mean that's a joke. It's fake. Like that nobody's working. Nobody's working. Is anybody working in America? Are you working in America right now in the chat? If you're working, press 1. If you're not working, press 2. I want to see what the chat has to say. I don't care if you're on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. We're broadcasting to Facebook. We're broadcasting to Periscope. 1 or 2. 1, I am employed. 2, I am unemployed.
Or even furloughed or whatever.
No, just 1 or 2. Let's just furloughed.
No, that's what I mean in terms of unemployed. Yeah.
Interesting. So we got 2 1 1 2 1 2 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 1, but vacation for a month. So 1. Well, nice flex there, Edgar. You asshole. Trying to steal the show. Trying to steal our thunder. Greg B with the 1. Actually, a lot of people are working, it seems. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about the stock market that's interesting. A lot of companies are no longer showing their earnings on a quarterly basis.
Why is that?
Because they don't want to show how much money they're either making or losing. And a lot of them, when they got bailouts from the government, they just bought their stocks up again to push their stocks up. And they were like, oh, everybody else is doing it, so we're doing it.
Interesting.
So they got their fake money. They put their fake money to bring up their stock. So the stock market is very highly inflated right now, even though that bounce back was pretty good. And so the other thing is if the earnings reports do come out and they show actually these companies are not doing as well as maybe some people think they are because of their stock, as soon as those earning reports come out, that's when the stock has a potential to get hit. So a lot of these companies are not going to be showing their earnings anymore, which is ridiculous. I think it's like over 50% of the market.
I am excited to see what the rest of this year holds. Now, there's 2 trains of thought. Obviously, all this stuff that's happening right now is because of the election. Let's just clear the fucking air on that, okay? Everything that's happening right now is 1,000% because of the election this year. Now, there are two schools of thought, and I think this is what's happening. I think personally, I don't even know if I can say this without getting demonetized, but let's just say in America, Team Red, they are from a certain republic of cans, and I feel like that team. Are
they demonetizing that?
I don't know, because it's election year, man. Even YouTube's fucking with shit. I don't want to say anything, Nazi police.
True.
Yeah, Todd says, look at this. Todd is so funny because everybody's working in here. Come on, MLD. No broke boys watching the Tokyo Crypto Show.
That's great.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
They should be.
That's right. That's right. 100%. Let's keep the Taj one up for a little bit. But yeah. So, where was I going before that? That made me laugh.
Talking about the election versus the market.
So yeah, I think that the red team, I think they're wanting the stock market to go up, so they're using the Fed to pump the market up. And I think Team Blue, dude, bro, I feel so justified. I know you don't hate them as much as I do, but the rat party, look at all these cities. Do you know LA shut down again?
Wow, when, because I know Philly did.
They opened the gyms and they just shut them down again. And all of these blue states are the ones pushing this, beer bug propaganda hard. Because my brother, he recently tested positive for it, and in the military, and he said the test was a little suspicious. And his main
the virus.
Yeah, and his main symptom, he told me, is he has a lower back pain.
Okay.
That's it. He's not coughing. He's not wheezing. I talked to him on the phone because I was worried a little bit.
He's able to walk in, not get out of breath.
Perfectly okay.
Yeah,
perfectly fine. He's got 3 kids that he's taking care of. They're 6, 4, and 1. So you can't be immobile taking care of a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And so, yeah, exactly. Right here. Are making the market go up with specific taxes and stimulus, right? Is your wife moving boxes over there? You guys moving again?
You got the one of the dogs had to have knee surgery a few weeks ago, so she has to stay in a cage for a month.
Oh, is that Tappy slapping around?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Even in the cage, she's high energy.
Yeah. Oh no, dude, she's gotten a lot more high energy because she got her stitches taken out this week. So now she's like, "Get me the hell out of this cage."
Oh God.
I can hold on a second.
So yeah, Black Magic 553 says LA shut down again because all those losers out here were protesting, right? Good. Oh yeah, that actually makes sense now. Good. I hope you fucking people suffer. Okay, look at this. All of a sudden, nobody cares about BLM anymore.
Yeah, well, these things,
it's like, what are we? July 15th. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares. It's over.
America has attention span for about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month max.
Yeah, and then so Todd says, so I'm assuming your nephew, 2 nephews and 1 niece, they do have it, and they're okay. No coughing, nothing. Everybody's okay. The whole family has it. But anyways, good. I hope those stinking, filthy rats and their filthy, little nasty tax heavy cities all shut down. Ugh, can you imagine? Taxes are such a joke. Today's tax day, by the way, Charlie. Did you file your tax? Today's the last day, or you have to file an extension. Yeah,
we're all good.
Yeah,
I told them I told them every single thing. Everything to the T.
Yeah, I did too, unfortunately. So, we're going to see what happens. But, yeah, going back to all that, it seems that there seems to be a fight for one party that wants to pull the economy up, which is the smart thing to do, because making your people financially suffer for votes is just like, you're a piece of shit. People hate you.
Yeah, Japan did that in the 90s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the ministry, I think it was, the Federal Reserve of Japan, basically wanted to push Japan into a prolonged recession throughout the 90s in order to basically push the finance ministry out of power.
Those people are just the worst.
Yeah, it's a power move, a lot of these things, So politics is crazy.
So anyways, let's talk about this thing moving forward with Bitcoin, right? Because there's 2 things, right? You have these 2 parties fighting for it. I think the party that is in office right now, I think that they are probably going to win because they have control of the Treasury. and they have control of the Fed, so they can print, and inflate the market. And really, it's like, who's like I think, how does this bubble pop? How does this bubble burst? We can just print, can't we?
Well, yeah, you can keep printing into infinity, which is what they're going to do even after the election, right? But eventually, the more that you print, the less effect that it has on the market. So it's possible that they take us out of a potential recession, it recovers, right, and then it stays healthy for another maybe 2, 5, 10 years, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's also just as possible that they put all their power behind printing. People call bullshit because they know, now what's actually going on. Whereas in 2008, it came by total surprise to a lot of people, right? So now people are more wise to it. They're not going to be getting into the stock market as much. So only really the fake money is going to be propping up the market. So if all the retail traders are gone, or they're not playing as much as they used to, which is debatable because there's a lot of volatility in the market right now. So sometimes that does attract more players. But if it doesn't, if there's a good majority of people who don't want to play in that market, there's not a lot of money, as much money flowing through there as before, that starts, pushing down the price. And at some point, I believe the Federal Reserve starts losing the power to actually affect the market that much. And once they lose that power, then, all hell can break loose, right? And Warren Buffett even said it in an interview last May. He said, all this money printing is, their attempt to have that effect of pushing the market up. But in reality, we do not know the long-term consequences because we've never done this at this scale before on a national or even global level. So even Warren Buffett said, we do not know how this will turn out. So if you keep doing something that you don't know what's going to happen afterwards, should you keep doing that? Probably not.
Interesting. So the way I'm just looking at everything right now is like, look at Irish Pavement says, LA is full of bums, even the financially well-off ones. Enjoyed that video you did on Will Simp the other day, MLD. Haven't laughed that much at a video in a while. Thank you so much, Irish.
Great.
Bateman, thank you so much. You want to send a donation, click on the link right there, streamlabs.com/Modern Life Dating Channel. Oops, that's the wrong one. That's the body language mastery button. Don't sign up for that because it's closed. But yeah, moving forward, there is a potential bull market upside towards the end of this year.
Especially for all markets, right?
Yeah, because look what happened after Big Daddy Trump won last time.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's because of him, though.
Dude, you're retarded if you think that. The fucking day after the elections, the market soaring, the biggest presidential upset in the history.
Not the single act of that. Think about it this way, bro. So usually the president, they have obviously some extent over the economy, right? But at the end of the day, there's a group of wealthy people on both sides. And I think one thing that's interesting about money in America is that when push comes to shove and you got the back doors of what's happening with the truly wealthy people in this country, they all want to be rich and they all want to gain more power, right? So there's one thing that I do think actually brings sometimes the political parties together, or at least gets them fighting in the same cause, is when their ass is on the line or when their money is on the line. So I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time I'm saying, there's some things that are beyond the control of politicians themselves. I think then you go more towards deep state type talk.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying the fact that he won last time. I don't know if you're paying attention to the markets, but they skyrocketed the next week. So I think because everybody is pushing so hard for him to lose right now, there's so much internal corruption, there's so much voter nonsense going on, right? Now, I just think that I'm smart, okay? And this shit is I'm usually right when I make these long-term calls. And I would not be surprised if we see a massive rally, if we see a Trump victory in November. And quite honestly, looking at senile Joe Biden with his fucking, is this really the best that these fucking idiots can put up together? Well, and people, look, you're really full of shit. If you look at Joe Biden, you're like, yeah, he'll be better than Trump.
No.
That guy who was kind of senile.
The one really, really bad thing in terms of economically that Joe Biden's talking about that could really basically put the economy in the shitter. He's talking about forgiving all student loan debt. And
It's not
what
going to
that
happen. He's just talking
what
about
that,
it.
you know what that would do? That would absolutely put the economy in the shitter, like long term.
Do you know that 2/3 of all student loan debt in the United States of America is held by women?
Great.
It's a
Sounds
fact.
about right.
So we should tank the economy and then blame women. That's what I'll do if I was president.
There you go.
But no, I think. What do you think end of year? Because we're talking about 15,000 Bitcoin. When are you projecting that?
Yeah, because markets up for all markets would be good for Bitcoin as well, because Bitcoin right now is highly correlated with the S&P. So I'm thinking Bitcoin by the end of this year, because in terms of $15,000 Bitcoin, we're talking about that to never go below that price again by the end of next year. But I do think we start piercing above the 10,000 mark pretty well with by the end of this year. So I would say somewhere between $13,000 to $17,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year is not too crazy.
$13,000 to $17,000 Bitcoins, you said?
Yep.
Interesting.
And that would be the start of a bullish trend. I think next year, I'm not sure exactly when, but maybe by the middle of next year, probably maybe about 1 year from now, having $27,000 Bitcoin is the first initial target after breaking 20,000.
Interesting.
And right now, Bitcoin's $9,225 or something like that. So I think that's a pretty good risk to reward, right?
Yep. And then I'm wondering when this is, because post mining, we were talking about post mining that $15,000 Bitcoin is pretty much a guaranteed, right?
Yes, I can show the chart on that. And so that would actually, with the chart, you can actually see why it will never go under $15,000 ever again. Let me pull it up.
I just received a coaching payment yesterday in Bitcoin. That's always fun.
Hell yeah, dude! When you receive payments in Bitcoin, that's always a great feeling. Let's see, where did I put that one? All right, can you see this?
Yes.
So this is the cost of production for Bitcoin, right?
Right.
So,
we talked about this before.
Yeah. So we mentioned this, and so this is the whole reason why we have this idea that Bitcoin will never go under. Specifically, the price is this 15,856, but 15,000 is easier to round down to. If I rounded it up to 16,000, that would be just as good, I think. But basically, yeah, you have the total cost of production, including electricity, hardware, everything, before the halving at $7,900. Because Bitcoin halves in supply, it automatically doubles. Went right to that line. Back here in 2016, it took about 6 months, 190 days. For that to adjust, and then the price to never go below that double ever again. I don't think it'll be the same 190 days the next time. I think it'll actually be quite a bit longer. It'll be about 1.5 years. So this happened in May of this year. So that would mean by the end of 2021, that would be the target for Bitcoin to stay above. And if you take a look back at the first halving, right, it was much shorter. It was only 47 days that Bitcoin stayed below $13.50 before never going below that price again. So that's a really, really simple reason. And so it's just a matter of time. And I think by the end of next year, by the middle of next year, we have a chance for Bitcoin to get to 27,000. Big breakdown could come where it tries to test that $20,000, maybe $17,000 mark, and then never touches this price ever again.
So, but the 15 point, what's the days between the base point post halving and then the new high point?
You mean in terms of coming above this $15,800 level?
Yeah, like you said, there's like 47 days in the previous model. Was how long?
Yep. So the first halving was 47 days that it took to get never go below that certain price again. The next halving was 190 days. So that was about it's definitely a lot longer, right? So it's 2 months to 6 months. That was about triple, but 6 months tripled is about 1.5 years, right? And so we have here May 11th. So 1.5 years from May 11th would be the end of 2021. And so we have this line here up to the end of next year, or sorry, to the beginning of next year. Pull it out here to, let's say, zoom out, just pull it out to the end of 2021, which you can't see on this chart right now.
Right.
But yeah, basically that's what it's doing.
And at 9,200 now, So you invest 9,200. Basically, by the end of next year, you'll have a little bit more.
Yeah, almost double. And if, in my opinion, at some point next year, you'll have a triple from that point.
1680 is what you would make. Interesting.
Yeah, can't complain with that. Better than a savings account that charges. But a lot of people are having negative interest rate savings accounts right now, so their bank is charging them to keep their money in a goddamn bank.
That's good to know. I mean, yeah, I'm still pretty much all optimistic overall with the whole crypto space. Like I said, my head has been out and obviously doing other stuff. But looking at this, man, I just think that there's tons of upsides with cryptocurrency still in the future, without a doubt.
Oh, massively. Anybody who's doubting cryptocurrency after it's been trying ever since people have been trying to torpedo it for the last 10 years and have not been successful, I think is just not paying attention.
Yeah, I think too that there's a lot of there's just a lot of upside. Like I could be wrong, and this is a surface level observation, but personally, I just do not even think that we'll ever see a $3,000 Bitcoin again.
Oh, no, not even close. Maybe not even under 6,000. It's possible, but it's looking like that 4,000 range is also potentially like 95% locked out of possibility.
What is 94% lockout rate of that?
Yeah, I think 3,000 is 100% not going to happen. 4,000 is maybe like 95% not going to happen. Even below 6,000, in my opinion, is probably about like 60 to 75% not going to happen. So,
wow. Yeah, well, I'm glad I'm in. I'm in. Every man should own at least one Bitcoin, boys. Keep that in mind. That one Bitcoin goal, and just hold on to it and keep on your personal grind. I'm pretty sure, unless an EMP hits, you're going to be A-okay. All right, well, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for us today, guys. That was more of our conversational show today, but I'm getting back in the swing of things. I'll be back tomorrow on my show, the regular show, Interview with the Man. We'll be doing more masculine meditations here. Go follow Charlie. Go to cultivatecrypto.com. Sign up for his trading courses. And until then, we'll see you next time. Peace out.
Peace.